The Kandos School of Cultural Adaptation is an artist cooperative, and we're dedicated to making art in the world. We look at points in our society at which culture is changing, and thus the term cultural adaptation. We attempt to apply our skills as artists to assist or participate in the change that is already occurring in the world. My name's Alex Wisser. I'm a member of the Kandos School of Cultural Adaptation. ksca has just launched a 2-year project called An Artist, a Farmer, and a Scientist Walk into a Bar. Georgie Pollard and I are two of the artists working on the project, and we've just traveled from Kandos to Bingra to complete the first part of our residencies. An artist, a farmer, and a scientist, it's a kind of unwieldy sort of beast. It's process-driven, which means it isn't really pre-planned. We have ideas before we come up, but with the idea that those ideas will change. It's 8 artists. Each one of them will engage with different participants. Farmers, scientists, Aboriginal stakeholders. They'll come up, and as you encounter the land, the idea for the work begins to develop out of that. So I guess part of the motive, is taking the art out of the galleries and bringing it to communities that don't normally get access to this sort of art. So we're bringing it to the farmer in the fields, to the farming communities. We like to think that we're actually offering ourselves an opportunity to participate in the culture of that community. It's 8 very different artists, so it's 8 very different projects. We have Carla Dickens, who's a Wiradjuri woman. She'll be engaging with Bruce Pascoe, who's an Aboriginal historian who's done some amazing work around rediscovering the agricultural practice of Aboriginal people before settlement. They're going to be doing an engagement around Bingra that will involve the Aboriginal community up there. Diego Benedo, he's an artist who deals with weeds. He's setting up a distribution network on which farmers can actually sell their weeds to high-end restaurants in Sydney. Lucas Eileen is going to be engaging with farmer inventor Alan Yeomans, who's invented a form of measuring carbon in the soil. And this will hopefully become a very important tool when carbon sequestration in farmland becomes a viable economic option. Laura Fisher and John Obolitho are engaging with Glenn Morris, who's an organic farmer and a scientist as well. And they're looking at humus, which is a living layer of soil that is very, very little understood, but incredibly important to soil health and microbiology. Mark Schwartz and Bjorn Sternberg will be working with solar power, making a work that will demonstrate some of the capacities of alternative energy to contribute to contemporary farming. Imogen Semler, she began as an artist and she's just finished her degree as a soil scientist. And she's going to be basically doing a series of works that will explore the sort of social reality of farmers that are making the transition from conventional high-input industrial farming to more sustainable regenerative methods. Georgina Pollard is engaging with Adam Blakester and Rui Anaya de la Rosa with a project around biochar. Biochar is a soil amendment made out of charcoal. Very stable form of carbon, so it's being looked at very seriously as a way of sequestering carbon in the soil. It also improves the soil as you do so. Myself, I'm digging a hole. I've done it before, and it's I think a really brilliant way of really getting a relationship to the land, getting down into it. So I go 3 meters down, and I'm going to make that as a permanent artwork for the Living Classroom. The Living Classroom is an educational facility that disseminates understanding and knowledge around horticulture, permaculture, regenerative farming, anything to do with our changing relationship to land. It's an amazing resource. They've regenerated over 100 hectares of the old Bingra Commons and built educational facilities, accommodations, gardens, and food forests. It's been a great partner to work with, a real boon to the project, and really wouldn't be possible without it. Art is, it's considered something, it's considered autonomous. So it's considered detached from the world. So people are a lot more receptive to having a conversation about art than they would be about having a conversation about something they find to be directly threatening, like changing the way that they farm the land. We need to be able to actually plug these farmers into the broader conversation that's being had mostly in urban contexts about land use, about the environment, about global warming. These are the people that are caretakers of the land. There's quite a loud voice within the city that actually looks with a certain amount of hostility at farmers as being culprits, whereas The farmers I know, they all care about the land they're on, and they're all, thinking up ways and attempting to find solutions to the problems we're all facing.